YouTube, welcome back in. Thanks for checking out another episode. Unfortunately, we have some more drama. We have some more bad news for you guys, as another one of our matches ended up being finished by somebody being booted. It happened in the first one. We'll take you through all of it. We'll take you through the pros reaction. I also want to go in. I'm going to show you exactly where it happened, exactly how it happened, and the impact it had. Also, I want to show you the ending to the Minnesota ROKKR match, because I think there might have been a slight mistake there that ended up costing them that victory. But without further ado, let's go ahead. If you're unaware, this happened to Zero. It was map 4. They were playing Hackney Yard Hardpoint. Zero ended up getting booted. It was in P2, second set of rotations, and they were poised to make a comeback. The map was probably going to be pretty close to tied at the end of P2, but just for some quick reactions right here on Twitter, the first thing that happened, Zero tweeted right here. He said, haha, I've been booted. Thank you, thank you. And then you can see that the sarcasm kind of goes away a little bit. He says, online champs, sick of this, with some expletives in there, of course. Some more reaction to this year right here. Then he said, and this is where things start to turn, because this really does start to affect these guys. He says, never, ever, ever have cried as a competitor, because every loss I've had could have been prevented. So basically what he means by that is that there's something he could have done better to prevent those losses. But today I cried because I've lost a series without even having a chance, and that's where it stinks, right? You don't really even have a chance to come back for it. It was nothing that he could have done, and it's what's going on with the rules right now. Any comments, leave them down below as we go throughout this. Guys, real quick, if you're not following me on Twitch, go follow me. It's at IconNationYT. We're going to be doing a live watch party. So this is an example of what it looks like. Scoreboard in the bottom right, also mini map in the bottom right at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're interested in why is Chicago winning, why is New York winning, or the next matchup, Florida versus Toronto, if you want to know what's happening live, I break it all down. I explain everything. Go follow me on Twitch. All right, sorry, back to the video. Zero said, honestly, I've had the worst year as a competitor, and to finally feel like I'm hitting some good form and trying to show it off at champs, and this happened. So yeah, early on in the year, he was part of New York. It didn't quite go his way. He gets a chance with London. He's been playing pretty well as of late, and then this happens at chance. Worst absolute time for it to happen. He says, I don't care about a fine or anything. There is zero chance this tournament can go ahead. You've allowed a $4.6 million tournament. Of course, he's talking to Activision and the Call of Duty League here to go ahead online with a $100,000 prize to someone who predicts a bracket right. Sorry, this is brainless. And then there's some more reactions after this. The one thing that I do like to see is that in this tweet, he says, was having the series of my life as well. Listen, I've regained to a point where I'm ready for the losers run, and that's all you can do, right? They're at the point in the time they were down 2-1 to Toronto, so who knows what happens. Unfortunately, there's nothing that you can do about it. Of course, at this point in time, Twitter goes crazy. All the other pros get in on it. Most notably, you have Slasher here. So he does begin this by saying this is just unacceptable. 2 out of the 3 matches so far having a disconnect. There needs to be a change. I don't know why it's taking so long for some to realize. And then he said he stands corrected because apparently Proto was getting hit off during their match as well from the Seattle Surge. He then goes on to say that I tried to tell you guys it needed to be postponed. You can't have this tournament. Just have it when it's unfair. And Slacked, this has also been a talking point from here, right? Slack comes in and says, should have taken all the money and saved it for next year, literally line blown. So if that's the case, just take this year's money, try to postpone it. If you can't do a bubble or whatever the case is, there's some more reactions to even some retired pros like Karma, who we all miss and love dearly. He said this clearly isn't going to stop happening, and he's right. As soon as somebody has their IP address, whether they're in a TeamSpeak or a Discord or whatever, you can get somebody's IP, you can hit them offline, they lag, they get booted, and now all of a sudden that's over. So as we go throughout here, Wuskin always some things here. He says, this is so frustrating, not good enough for myself either, but we move on. GG's to Toronto. He then goes on to say, I've sat in my living room playing for $4.6 million. Get me on the local. Wow, how did this go ahead? As in, get me on LAN, right? Local area network. That's what he's referring to. But similarly to what we saw out of Zero, Wuskin says, anyways, I've hit the regain. See you on Saturday. Losers bracket. Someone order. Until then. Just some other things here. This is from Surge Enable. So, of course, we haven't seen Enable for a while, but he does mention that something like this has happened before. Similar situation happened in AW where they had to restart the league. Could have called it from a mile away, especially since some little kid can get 100,000 to have the correct bracket. Basically what he's saying there is that if there's this much money on the line, then some kid can just go in and start booting people just to make sure that their bracket's correct. And now all of a sudden you win $100,000, right? So you do have a little bit of control if you can get IP addresses here and there. GodRx does go on to say, don't tell me the guy has resorted to booting off casters now. What he's talking about here is the fact that Miles was having issue. Big shout out to Chance. Chance did such a good job in that matchup, being the only one that was in there to cast. So good job out of Chance there. Now, with that said, I do want to go through and I want to show you exactly what happened. Zero explained the entire situation. He tweeted it out. So let's go ahead and I'm going to show you his explanation. I'm going to play through his explanation and then I'll go ahead and I'll show you the live broadcast. I'll draw on it with arrows so you guys can see a little bit closer what happens. And then I also want to show you the end of the Minnesota ROKKR match because it was a thrilling match. It came right down to the wire. I think Minnesota made a little mistake, but without further ado, let's go ahead and let's listen in to this explanation from Zero.
What's going on Twitter? Just showing up like where I actually lagged out, by the way, just so there's no confusion. Because Hackney Yard is a very like hill-to-hill dominant map, and we have P2 rotation right now. You know, perfect P2 rotation. Got spawns, got everything. That's the score right now. I'm pushed everything out. You know, I'm in some fucking form right now. So of course I'm ego channeling everyone. I'm pushing shit out. You know how it is. So yeah, this is just a video showing where I actually lagged out. I'm trying not to show names either, because that wouldn't be very cool. So I make that kill, and I'll try and pause it and show you. So I started lagging here. I'll cover that. I started lagging here. You can see that. That's like, yeah, you're fucked, basically. So obviously you can see my fight. I die because I can't fucking move. And then I'm literally stuck in this position. I'm trying not to show you. Hold on, let me do that. I'm literally stuck in this position for for 2 minutes. The game's ended by the time I've even fucking done anything, you know? It doesn't even kick me out of the game. I'm literally lagged out like this. And my internet's gone down. I've lagged out everything, so. Honestly, not much you can do, but, you know, it's whatever. Just letting everyone know this is when I exactly lagged out. That's the score as well, so yeah. Don't know what more can be done, but appreciate it, people.
So that right there is his explanation. Obviously, he just wanted to show everybody that he was lagging. He got those 3 boxes on the left-hand side of the screen, which just means that you're having network connection issues. So just wanted to point it out from his point of view so that he could show what exactly was happening. I do want to go through and I want to make sure that I show you what happened on the broadcast. So if we bring up this, it happened. Now, the score in the top middle, it's 168. Or it's 165 to 128, but P2 just popped. And if you look at the blue arrows, they're all on the right side of the map, and they do have control of P2. So you might think, well, it's a 40-point game. Who knows if they end up coming back? But that's not the case, right? Because they have P2. Most of the time, you're going to end up getting the rest of the time inside of P2. So they're probably going to leave P2 with a 20-point lead. But if we're looking at the mini map, bottom left-hand corner right here, this is Zero. He's up towards the top of the map. This kind of starts exactly where he was showing you. So if we press play, he goes through. He gets that kill mid-map on Kleenex. So Kleenex goes down right towards mid-map. You can also see it over on the left-hand side in the kill feed. And then as we hit play, we're going to see his gun battle comes up right up here. So he ends up dying. Again, mini-map. You just see him go down right here. And from here, on his screen, we were showing him spawning kind of back by Tire Shop down towards the bottom side of the map. But if we hit play, his arrow's actually going to come up in the top right-hand side of the map. So again, if we're looking at the mini-map, he spawns up here on the top right-hand side of the map. Just for a second, he is going to end up glitching forward a little bit. You just saw his arrow move right there. But he is absolutely stuck. At this point, 30 seconds have already come off the clock. London is playing this map 4v5. They're holding down P2, and they're still being successful at coming towards the comeback there. Now, moving ahead, last thing I want to show you is the end of this match, because I think there might have been a little bit of a mistake here, because inside of P5, currently, if you're taking a peek at this, they just got a kill. So Exceed just killed Zuma inside of P5. And right now, Minnesota has control of this part of the map, right? There's 18 seconds left inside of P5. So as long as they get the rest of this time, they can end up winning inside of P5. So if you're Minnesota, then just get those clearly obvious kills, right? New York is spawning in the middle of the map. It's not like they have time to climb up top heaven and go through the top of P5 and go down the stairs. They just don't have the time. So if you're New York, you don't have a choice, but you have to hit these super obvious routes to get inside of P5. But as they come up off of spawns, you can see that Alex spawns up here. He's the number 6 purple arrow. So rather than go top graffiti wall or head back towards top heaven or provide extra resources back towards P5, what he decides to do and the call that they make is to go ahead and rotate so that they have right side spawns as it goes back to the first hard point. Problem with this is that this is never going to go to the second hard point, so it's not going to make it to P2 again. So it doesn't necessarily matter too much which side spawns you have going back inside of P1. And basically at this point in time, everything ends up going against you. So if we go ahead and we hit play, we can see on broadcast right here that Matt goes down, but at graffiti wall, that's where they end up getting the break, right? Attach gets a 2-piece, Zuma gets a 2-piece, and now if we're looking right here, the top side of the map, had Alex went up towards that top side, he could have provided some support up for assault, up for a seam. They end up getting through with 8 seconds left. There's not really anybody left there for Minnesota to combat this push. They get in and they're able to contest just a little bit right there. So they get inside. Matt gets a massive 2-piece. And now as it resets back inside of P1, if you're Minnesota, all you got to do is get in for 4 seconds, right? So again, at this point in time, you would just figure that, okay, we're right here, we're inside, we're getting these close spawns. Zuma's the only person that's left. So Zuma's inside, he is contesting at the moment. He goes down, Attach makes an unbelievable play, right? If we're looking on screen, Attach really has 2 options. He could freak out knowing that Minnesota has control of the hill, and he could hit the front side right here and go through exactly where Zuma just died. If he does that, New York ends up losing the match. What he elects to do instead is he goes back behind the blue van. He gets a 2-piece from behind, and they're just able to hold it for the next 20 seconds. So here comes Attach. He gets the first kill on Exceed. He also gets a double on a Seam. If a Seam gets that kill, it's map over. We're going to map 5. But at this point in time, now if you're Minnesota, this is exactly what I said in terms of rotations. You have to get inside of P1. So it's not like you have an opportunity to be creative. You have to run through that door, or you have to go top AC. You can't flank behind. You can't hit top L. You can't hit bottom L. And at that point in time, the match was over. So who knows? I mean, if one tiny little decision or gun kill goes the other way, we're going to a map 5 into Search and Destroy, where Minnesota looked great. Exceed looked tremendous with the sniper in his hands. But again, in this one, more drama, more disconnect issues, more problems with online champs. Leave it comments down below. Let me know how you guys are feeling about this one. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm your one-stop shop for all things Call of Duty League playoffs. And with that, leave a like. We'll see you in tomorrow's upload.